mind, God, as we try to make decisions for the city and do things in the city's best interest.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, moving into a citizen comment period. Do we have any that's ready to go right now? We're gonna wait. I think we're gonna wait.
You know, wait to a particular item.
until
Yeah,
we
I think
have-
most everybody signed up for a specific item, so.
Okay, moving into presentation updates and reports with the city manager on first.
Yes. First of all, I would like to go ahead and thank staff for the work they have done in preparing for our winter storm. At first, when I needed someone to come out, he did not call staff. He personally went out himself and took care of the issues. So I want to bring that to council attention. That's my example of a great leader, and I appreciate him doing so. I was aware of what utilities may continue to work with TxDOT on the railroad and Highway 90 overpass. We're hoping to have a meeting scheduled for, I think it's gonna be February 7th. I have not, Mayor, at this time received a confirmation of that, but we're trying to make a determination of what utilities, if any, that the city would have to relocate. It's been going back and forth. We may have to relocate, we may not. So hopefully, at this meeting, the following determination will be made. That's all I have at this time.
Okay, moving into our finance reports.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I will be giving a general overview of the financial operations through December 2023, which is the third month of the fiscal year 2023-2024. We're going to start off with the general fund. The total revenues are $2,321,082, or 21.8% of budget, which is 11.3% more than last year to date. Total expenditures are at $2,265,935, or 21% of budget. Revenues are over expenditures by $55,147, which are slowly increasing as we collect more property and sales tax in the upcoming months. Staff will keep monitoring the revenues and expenditures for this fund. For the water and sewer fund, we have total revenues at $1,837,979, or 25.9% of budget, which is 9.3% more than last year to date. Total expenses are at $849,716, or 12.3% of budget, which is 35% less than last year to date. Revenues are over expenses by $988,263 due to departments training within budget. For the solid waste fund, total revenues are at $206,872, or 25.4% of budget, which is trending within budget. Total expenses are $117,461, or 16.9% of budget. Revenues are over expenses by $89,411, and due to department training within budget. For the fiber fund, total revenues are $53,838, or 47.9% of budget, which is 66.2% more than last year to date, and this is due to the increase of interest. Total expenses are at $211,068, or 14.7% of budget, which is significantly more than last year due to fiber installation, contracted services, and personnel expenses. And then revenues are under expenses by $157,231, once again due to fiber expenses that are occurring to continue to service the city of Dayton residents.
Okay. One question, is it possible that we can get a copy of that breakdown? I don't have it in my notes, and see everybody else is shuffling papers looking for it.
What breakdown?
Usually we get a copy of that.
It's in the actual agenda that I send y'all. I just usually don't print out all the department reports and the finance packet because it's very large. So,
Okay.
but yeah, it's what was emailed to you.
Okay, no, I'm just talking about just the breakdown report that she does, not the full report.
Yeah,
We
I
usually
can,
have a copy of it.
yes, sir, I can print it.
It is?
It's in there.
Okay,
It's not in this printed version.
okay.
It is.
Sorry, I missed that. I usually have.
So I didn't see that happening.
Okay. Moving into, other department reports. Moving into, our mayor, staff and council comment period.
Council, I just wanted to acknowledge our court clerk, Arlette. She, in January, earlier last year, she got her level 1 certification, and in December, she received her level 2. So now she's working on her last one before she becomes a certified municipal court clerk.
Awesome.
So, and there's only 142 of those in the state of Texas, so
Okay, make sure we keep her.
I'm trying.
Anybody else?
Yes, I had a few announcements for the general public. I would like to remind everyone of Saturday, January 20th, we have our Boots and Bullets fundraiser, which I'm told that the tickets are already sold out on that, but we're having a blood drive from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at the community center that day, along with the Boots and Bullets chili and gumbo cook-off, which you can still get in on that if you'd like to enter either one of those. It's $50 entry fee for each one of those. And January 27th, we have the Casa Boots and Bandanas, not to be confused with Boots and Bullets. It is a separate fundraiser for the Casa of Liberty and Chambers counties. And then on Thursday, February 8th, the Dayton Chamber of Commerce is hosting their annual gala here at the community center.
Mayor, I do want to put one thing out just as a bug in everybody's ear. January 26th, Daynet will have their new office ribbon cutting. That's going to be at 11 a.m., so everybody is absolutely invited.
Awesome, great news to hear.
Sorry, one more thing. We do have a new address, so we did get a new physical address thanks to planning department. So it's 201 Church Street. 201 Church.
Church or cook?
Cook, excuse me, Cook. Cook. It's always the church. Cook. 201 Cook Street.
I would like to recognize our city secretary for keeping us all on track and making sure we remember where we are. Moving into our consent agenda, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as written. I second.
Yeah, a motion to approve in a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent passes. I know it's a little early, but I need to hereby close this public and open up our executive session. And we will reconvene shortly.
here who's wishing to be considered and would like to speak to you in regards to, this application.
City of Ames,
Thank you.
seeking y'all's nomination tonight.
So if you would go ahead and address the council if you'd like.
So, hello, my name's Ryan Taylor. I'm a city councilman based out of Texas. Brazos Transit District, they have an opening on the board of directors for an elected official. I spoke Friday with Mayor Mudd and Ms. Judge. From my understanding, y'all didn't plan on nominating anyone yet. So I asked them, y'all will nominate me also. My hope being that going into this, if I can get a few nominations, they'll see and understand, let's put somebody from Liberty County on it, I think the board sits with 21 members. This nomination covers 3 counties. But my biggest goal, and if I get this, I spoke with Ms. Billings outside. Oftentimes we kind of have a disconnect somewhere, and I want to help the rural people. We're rural where I'm at, and I have a drive for that. Grandma over here needs to go to the doctor as well as the one over here. So I want to get that nomination and work at keeping everything how it is. I don't know much about the Brazos Transit District yet, but I'd like to learn a lot. I'd like to jump off in it. So I'm just asking y'all if y'all will nominate me. If you have someone else in mind, just completely understand.
And the staff position is set, this is the public transportation that we have, and it gets someone from Liberty County, to be nominated from this area would be beneficial for our citizens. We recommend.
Okay, any other questions?
Is Ryan, is Ryan the only candidate from the Liberty County area that's,
It's really the council make a nomination, we don't have any other candidates.
no other candidates yet for now? Okay.
Okay, can I get a motion on action item 9B?
I move that we do nominate Ryan Taylor, or support Ryan's nomination, to the Brazos Transit District Board.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B carries.
Thank you. I'm going to leave some business cards with Ms. Judge for y'all. If y'all would like to reach out, contact me anytime, please feel free.
Council,
Alrighty.
can action item 9A be dismissed?
Sir?
Can action item 9A, us be dismissed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you go. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming out.
Okay, quick question, sidebar question for Brandon. How much of this do I have to read? And do I have to read in Spanish?
No.
Okay.
That much.
All right. Action item 9C, consider with possible action on ordinance 0-2024-2, ordering a general municipal election be held on the 4th day of May 2024 for the purpose of electing 3 council members for positions 1, 2, and 3, authorizing the joint election agreement and election services contract by and between the city of Dayton, the Dayton Independent School District, and any other contracting entities and the Liberty County Clerk, providing for early voting, providing for 2 12-hour days of early voting, providing for publication and notice of election, and establishing other procedures for conduct of the election.
Mayor and council, we have to order the election, and we have a certain time frame that we have to do it in. We always have a joint agreement, election agreement with Dayton ISD, and that's, we split our election costs, which lowers that on our part. And then also with Liberty County for conducting the elections.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to point out one thing on this, is that, just as a refresher, since we're switching to the 3-year terms, the 3 positions that are up this time, once those 3 individuals are elected, they will draw a hat or bowl, whatever. They'll draw, and 2 of those 3 will have 3-year terms, and 1 of those 3 will be on a 2-year term. And so that's again, as we're rolling to try to get everybody on 3-year terms, but trying to get it set up to where it's 2 people each election time that's up. And so that was, when the charter was amended, that was the procedure that was put in for this one. So before the election, it's a basically even chance for everybody, and then once the winners are chosen or elected, then those 3 choose, and we'll draw to see which position has a 2-year term and which 2 have 3-year terms. So then the one that does get a 2-year term, the next time it is up, it will be on a 3-year term, if that makes sense.
And I did provide that information in the candidate packets.
I just wanted to point that out.
All right, can I get a motion for item 9C?
I move that we approve ordinance number 2024-2 as presented.
And a second.
Yeah, I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item C carries.
One thing I did want to say on 9C is, I am requesting that we look into the possibility of the election being held in a room other than the seniors, the senior center. We have, other rooms that are available. This is the room that elections used to be held in before council moved over to these 2 rooms. And, I'd just like for it to be looked into, and I talked to Kim earlier, I'd like for it to be looked into election being moved to another room as opposed to the seniors room, and the seniors being disrupted for those 2 weeks of early voting. I feel that it's very inconvenient on our seniors to be moved.
Item 9D, consider with possible action on Resolution R 2024-3, approving the festival dates and use of facilities and road closures for the Dayton Old Time Days Festival. And I'm excited for this.
Hello. So you might know
I'm short, sorry. Hello, everybody. I'm Anna Smith. I'm Festival Chairman at the Dayton Old Time Days Festival. I'm here to represent the festival.
something indicating that they agree with that. We will need that. And just to make sure that all other vendors realize that we don't close our business until 5 o'clock. Just like so many others that's in that area. So they cannot begin setting up until after 5 o'clock. We don't have a problem with these closures. Staff is recommending approval.
It seems like I remember being some issues, especially on Bryan in that area. And it's been an ongoing concern that their businesses are dramatically affected when this happens, and I don't want us to have to go through that again. I mean, are we working on solutions that minimize the impact to our
What they need to be signing is a document that indicate they're aware that the road's gonna be closed at a certain time.
Yes,
And for what days, because that's one of the issues that we were faced with, because it happened to us as a.
Right, and that was gonna be, one, I appreciate, when I wanted to know what was your backup plan. And to go a little bit further back, is it just one particular business that you guys have had? Is it more than half that's complaining, or is it just one business?
I would say I had 2 complaints, and I think the biggest complaint was the timing and the location of the closure. And what happened, and Anna, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the carnival folks came in and they started setting up and they blocked driveways and entrances is what the main problem. It had nothing to do with any food trucks. It had nothing to do with any other vendor. It was actually a carnival that came in and disrupted the area. I remember going and asking them for certain things, and I talked to Ann about it, because I didn't agree with how they was putting stickers on the rides. The stickers should have been already on there, and it's placed by the inspector. It has nothing to do with the Carnival ride owner placing those, and I felt that they were unsafe. So I'm letting Kelson know, and also Ann.
Have to give to you guys and have them sign off on that, because regardless of what they do, it's still gonna be inspected. And I think what Kimberly was trying to say is we would rather them mitigate what we're looking for so that we don't have to turn anything off.
We'll be proactive in our reading.
Yeah, and I think in that proactive, I think we need to have, city staff there when they're setting up, right at the
Yes.
moment when they're allowed to go into the parking lots, and to verify that they're gonna do things according to the agreement. I think that's about the only way we're gonna satisfy the business owners that are in the area, because my understanding is they showed up early, they started setting up, they didn't have anyone there to take care of the problem.
Okay, yes ma'am. I'll make sure that's addressed. I'll personally take care of that situation also by myself, myself as well, and let y'all know.
So it's very important that we get, approval from the business owner, property owners, way prior to the event. No less than 2 weeks. I need to make sure we have every owner in business signature that they're aware of all the time, and the dates in which they're gonna be affected by. As I expressed to you previously, we really appreciate you guys, Old Time Days, coming out, giving something for the public to actually enjoy. I enjoyed myself, but there's certain things that we need to make certain of, so not only, us, but the property owners and the businesses are able to have the same enjoyment during the same time.
So are you saying that we want every business to sign off on whether they agree to the closure or not? Or whether they just receive the
No,
information?
that they agree. One of the biggest things is that they agree. They normally give us, the document showing that they do agree. They normally give it to us, but what happened, and the only thing I added to it, I didn't just say property owner, I said business owner. They give me the property owner, which the property owner had signed, but the business owner had not agreed.
So that goes back to my question before. If they can't get 100% participation on the business owners to agree, then what's the backup plan?
The backup plan is that Carnival cannot be there. I really feel those business owners are business owners that've been there that we agree to support. This is something that occurs every year, and I feel that Old Time Days should be able to communicate with them. They have sufficient time to communicate with those business owners to find out what would work. Remember, it's about us working together. So I think the communications should start early with those business owners. This is not the first time Ms. Smith and I have spoke about this.
And when we talk about the carnival and the rides specifically, right?
Yes.
So is there, I guess my question then would be to Anna, if we have to move the carnival, is there any other options that you know of?
No, sir. There's
So,
not,
so then there would be no carnival?
there would be no carnival. There's not an area that's large enough for anything like that.
They use the city's parking lot, which is fine. We don't have a problem with them using their parking lot and drive. The issue is when they block the streets and no one can get through and get to their business. The business owners that pay taxes.
So generally, we have the carnival flow on over to the front of my shop in front of Mike's.
Right.
And I think he gets upset because of, the way, I guess it's in front of him. So if we can't agree, we're just gonna cut it over further,
Okay.
if that makes, so that's the backup plan.
Okay.
But as far as having to do away with it or put it anywhere else, I don't think we have an option.
I don't think we have one somewhere else.
So what time are we looking to close the road on Bryant Street on the end?
8 a.m.
So we close it at 8 a.m.
On
Yes,
which
sir.
day?
on Friday,
on Friday.
the 12th.
Because they're bringing in rides.
Right.
And then, so the city parking lot will close the week early.
Yeah.
just that parking lot itself, so they can safely bring in things and set those up and leave those there and start inspecting. We'll make sure that could be the time to
And
start.
they have to make sure that's the only space they take up that, because the last time they wasn't just in the city parking lot, they was I could be.
Thank you. I got to go back up.
Okay, on action item 9D, can I get a motion?
I just wanna clarify really quick. Are we saying that, I got
Question for her.
It's what they should,
That's what we
they
were.
haven't made the recommendation yet, they hadn't.
okay.
Okay, can I get a motion on item 9D?
So this is on
First Street at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, all other streets, right?
Yes, ma'am, except for Bryan Street being at 8 o'clock that morning on 12.
And then we have Brian at 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, 8 o'clock a.m. With provision that all property owner and businesses sign a petition stating that they, are okay with this closure. Depot Street at 4 o'clock. All other streets that's indicated on the map for Old Time Fest will be at 5 o'clock p.m. And giving staff enough time to leave the parking lot.
And if somebody wanted to make that motion, they could just say to approve as stated by Ms. Judge.
And I have it written down for, we can say that they are putting heads in bed, and I can say that they do, based on the people that attend.
Okay, can I get a motion on item E?
I just have one question. Is there a dollar amount on this?
5,000.
5,000.
So I move that we approve resolution R 2024-4, approving the request for hotel motel funds for the assistance of Dayton Old Time State Festival.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 90 carries. Have a
Thank
great
you.
old time, Dave.
I appreciate y'all very much. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll make sure that Mike is happy.
I'm gonna.
All right, moving on to item 9F. Consider taking action on resolution R 2024-6740 SH 146.
Good evening, council. I'll summarize this item for you. This particular is on the map here. You can see the location of the property. This is also known as Cowboys Ready Mix. Yes, Cowboys Ready Mix, and it is next to one of our other industrial properties here with other towers. The applicant is proposing to put a silo at a height of 87 feet 1 inch on the property. The zoning ordinance says that you have to pursue a conditional use if you go above 60 feet. So that's why you're seeing this application before you. Typically, this is for buildings, but because this particular structure or equipment has to receive a building permit for the footings and the placement and location, that's why it's coming before you tonight. And that's really it here. So staff recommended approval. Planning and Zoning Commission also found the criteria to be met, and they recommended approval.
So this is a variance to the standard,
This
or is it changing the standard?
It's a conditional use to change the standard
But it's
from 60 feet to 87 feet 1 inch.
Move that we approve resolution R 2024-6.
Rear of the property. It's an unusual track. According to the neighboring tracks, as you can see, most of the tracks here have a median divide. This particular track actually extends 200 plus feet back into the residential section. So what the applicant is proposing to do is turn the house that is on this site into offices.
Kind of useful, I mean, it's kind of odd that you have residential all the way around, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's an office sitting there.
It says like,
Well, you just said it extends into the residential area.
So
the real
the-
private, the real.
The rear of the lot extends into the residential subdivision. But again, the house is located here towards the front of 1960. Again, as you see, it's just an unusual, so it's happenstance that this is occurring. But when you rezone it to general commercial, you're zoning that entire tract to general commercial. which
So they could
extends-
build all the way out to that other road back there?
Ideally, yes, ma'am. I mean, of course,
Encroaching
they're gonna have to
on
meet
the
the development
residential.
standards, but yes,
Encroaching on the residential.
yes, yes, sir.
Yes, let me ask you a question if I can. In the rear of the property, it appears to be a detention pond there, is that not so?
No, it is
No.
currently a green space, it's all, a green lot. So both the subject property and the neighboring property is completely green space on the backside. There's no development at all with the exception of a fence.
So they only intend to use the house itself that's there as their, and the rest of it's gonna remain grass?
Well, going commercially, they'll have to do some development standards like increased parking spaces, et cetera. But yes, their intention is to use the particular house in its existing footprint as offices.
Has there been any, conversation with the neighbors?
Yeah, well, yes, there has been. We actually received several letters, in opposition to this particular item. I believe there's a number of neighbors signed up to speak to the item tonight, and the applicant is also here as well. So if you guys want to speak to them directly, they're
So the neighbors don't want it.
But we have then the sign, people have signed up to speak, if we want to hear from them.
Yeah.
Can we hear from them?
Let me call, Ramona Flores.
Hello, good evening. My house is directly behind the proposed property. If my driveway would actually touch, crossing the street, their property. My concerns were, number one, flooding. My property has been flooded multiple times. And by standards, adding a commercial property, you're taking up green space or whatnot, adding concrete. That's my concern. There's only gonna be more possibilities of flooding done. My second concern was the road. It's not wide enough to fit commercial traffic. Right now, my corner neighbor, they have multiple vehicles. So they do park a couple of their vehicles on the street as is. So if we're coming from 1916 turning into a lane to make our left-hand turn to Susan, it's a tight turn to get in there. It's, not only that, increased traffic. As it is, sometimes my kids wait for the bus there on the corner. Multiple vehicles will pass by there. Sometimes they don't stop at the stop sign. Not only that, the traffic on 1960, for it to change from residential to commercial, being that there's other businesses down the road and other residential properties, it's only going to get harder to get in and out of Elaine Street. Not only that, my concern, it can start off as offices, but my concern as a homeowner and raising my kids there is that they can sell at any point and another business can come in, whether it be a vape shop, liquor store, halfway house, I don't know. But after it's been changed to commercial use, there's really, what's to say what goes in there afterward, affecting all of us in that neighborhood back there. And being that the city has already stated that it doesn't follow the guidelines for commercial use, that the proposed zoning district is not consistent with the City of Dayton's comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and they designate that area for neighborhood comfort conservation. Myself being born and raised in Dayton, graduate of 2005, I see the growth coming. I see where a lot of these older, I hate for these older neighborhoods to be pushed back. And what it is basically, it would set a precedence for, other businesses to come into established neighborhoods. So those were my concerns, and that's the main reasons why I'm opposing this. And thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can I call up Courtney Wheeler?
Yes, sir, I'm the applicant. Did you want to hear from me last, or?
No, go ahead.
Okay. In front of you, I hope you have a small packet like this. Whenever I met with planning and zoning, I brought them several copies of this, which I think is probably a bit more robust than anybody cared to deal with. But if you would like a copy of it, the most important part of this is this one that's different is I pulled all the CAD reports for the 75 plus properties that you see numbered in the smaller packet. I have met with some of the neighbors. Some of them have, like Ms. Ramona, I met the planning and zoning committee. Some of the other neighbors are here as well. I'm an attorney, and I only represent children and parents involved in child welfare systems. So I don't have a big commercial practice, and frankly, I hate offices. The only office I've ever been in that I could tolerate was a property very much like this one in a quiet residential area that maybe had, I think at most, 6 cars ever parked in its parking lot at one time. I personally only meet in person with a client maybe once a week, if their children usually go into their homes. But the point is in your packet you'll notice I have included the maps that are detailing the established neighborhood plan, the city zoning plan. But then if you flip the page to the current land use, you'll see all of the properties that are zigzagged in blue. Those are actual commercial properties. So on the city plan, you have where Jose's Mexican food is, and that's zoned as commercial, but the property behind it, which is the HVAC company, is not zoned commercial, neither is M&M Auto, which goes further down the corner. Then you've got the Federal Land Bureau, the credit union, next to Jose's, which is not zoned commercial, but most certainly is, with quite a bit of traffic. And then the neighbors next to them, that property is zoned commercial, though currently being used for residential purposes. And then you skip down a couple lots and you've got the nail and barber shop. The Section 8 housing is zoned commercial. There's also the city annex, which is zoned commercial. There's the apartment complex, which is zoned commercial, as well as the Section 8 housing and public housing across the street zoned commercial. Also, just to show from an established neighborhood where this is working, the back 2 pages are further down Clayton Street, sort of more across from where Texas Country Kitchen is. That neighborhood is vastly zoned as established neighborhood, but again, if you flip to the last page, you'll see that, that entire region is littered with businesses. The florist is back there, the music shop is back there, my dentist is back there, my orthodontist is in there, and those are businesses that see a substantial amount of traffic and still maintain a very quiet presence within their neighborhood. I'm only going to use one office because I'm just one girl who likes to pick a fight with the bad guy. And sometimes that's the government, and sometimes that's a person, or sometimes that's addiction. So I've never met anybody that was excited to go into a lawyer's office for any reason at all. I've never met anybody that wasn't stressed out about that experience. And so the only reason we were interested in this property for this reason is to maintain it as it is, so that it is calming, so that it is quiet, so that it feels comfortable, so that it might feel like a home they've never even had access to themselves. My goal is to pour into this neighborhood. And I understand that there are concerns about what were to happen if we were to ever sell. And I know that I'm not from here and y'all don't know me from Adam, so you're just going to really have to take me at my word at this. But being a lawyer is convenient because I can put in my own deed restrictions. I can make sure this land is never used for anything that involves your sin taxes, your alcohol, your tobacco, your anything like that. I can put those conditions in a deed when I sell it if I choose to. And I can also put that in mind in my husband's will, so that should we get hit by a bus tomorrow, this property can never be used for that. So there are things that I can do to protect this property, which is very much my interest in doing. I don't have any real intention, there's a lot of things I can't quite commit to yet because I haven't met with y'all's engineers, which is something we've been trying to get on the books, but the weather has stopped us. There's quite a bit of parking on the street, which does narrow it, so my ambition would not to, at this time, is not to make any kind of primary throughway where you come in the front and exit the back. I do plan on having a culvert there just to make the accessing it and maintenance functional.
So that would be my only concern. My biggest concern would be Susan Street.
Correct.
And that is one of our biggest concerns, because it is not, it's a residential street.
Right.
It is not a commercial street. I was hoping you would say no.
No, I
that
don't, like
you
I
would
said.
use it just 1960 with fence off the property back for Susan. That's what I was hoping
Ideally,
you
not
say.
cut for traffic.
No, exactly. Well, and that's, I mean, who hasn't been stuck at a red light and cut to a gas station?
So, not to interrupt you, but, you foresee using this property strictly for, an office, a legal office?
Mine would.
With a one-stop with multiple.
Right, there would,
uses
in theory, there would be multiple businesses
Okay.
in there, but not high traffic businesses.
Okay. I like the idea of new businesses coming into the city. However, I'm concerned about our local citizens and their community. They have their children, their livelihood, and that being affected is a concern for me.
Absolutely.
It would be nice if the entities could come together and work out a solution that would be beneficial to all parties.
I haven't posted anything for lease yet because I do like to play by the rules, so I guess Mrs. put it on the chamber or anything like that because I don't want to waste people's time and bring them in and say, yeah, let's do this sign lease. Oh, just kidding. The city council said we can't do that. That's unprofessional. But I don't mind, I am very open-minded to doing normal and reasonable things to protect my neighborhood. My only goal is to bring this neighborhood up and not bring it down. As somebody who's fought tooth and nail with flooding issues on County Road 601, I can 100% respect where they're coming from on that issue. And I'm very keen on making sure I can do everything I can to pull as much water away from them into 1960 where it belongs.
And that was gonna be my next task because, the citizen, which is, they live there currently, concerned about the flooding.
Yes.
Do you have a mitigation plan for that? Because it would be unfortunate.
So I went, do you guys remember, I guess, a couple weeks ago when those real bad winds hit? Maybe when they had the tornadoes that came through a little bit north of us. We had already started taking some of the fence down, and glad we did, because some of it could be pushed over. The way the property is currently situated is that the house essentially consumes the first top third of the property, and then didn't cause hardship to our neighbors.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
I do have another question, or a statement, I guess. I look at this picture and this map, and I think of West Clayton, it was 1960. I mean, that's a major route for going through all the work that, where the businesses are coming up. I know of another house that's being converted into a commercial business on West Clayton, on the other side of 321. And it's like, it just seems to be where they're headed. But if we can manage to minimize the background so that the neighborhoods aren't affected, which seems to be happening on other aspects of Clayton right now. So that's my comment.
Sure. I don't believe there's no one else signed up to speak, but I do have a suggestion for council.
Well, I just have one question for Brandon.
I might be answering.
Isn't your office in a residential area?
Yes.
In a town without zoning.
Yep.
Good answer.
I would like to ask council to table this item, not to take any action, to give staff an opportunity to work with the property owner and see what we can come up with. The reason I'm asking this is twofold. One is that 1960 will eventually be commercial, all commercial. It's leading that direction. We have several zoning amendments that have come before the body for rezoning to commercial. However, this is a unique situation at this location because of the property running elongated towards Susan Street. I have a very big concern with Susan Street. And looking up the law and talking with Chris and Brandon, we cannot do it in condition to the zoning amendment because it would be a contract zone, and legally you guys cannot do that. So I really need to sit down with the property owner and see what we can do, if anything, before council would take action.
I like that idea.
Okay.
But
So
can
we'll
she
just-
go
we'll table
forward
this.
with her business?
And that would be my question, is what kind of timetable would we be looking at? Because again, it's just me and my husband. And so every day that we don't begin renovations
1 month.
Right.
is.
So what I would say, to answer your question, is that we're gonna table this tonight. We'll come back in 1 month, and we'll speak again.
So within that month, is she, will you be
Chris
communicating with
and they will work.
Chris and, okay, I like that.
It is
Unfortunately,
okay.
we're gonna table it tonight.
Okay, and it is okay that I
Motion to do that, Brandon?
Yeah, we do need a motion.
Okay, well, I move that we table, ordinance O 2024-4.
I second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item table. Action item 9H. Consider with possible action resolution R 2024-5 reappointment of the DEDC board members.
Hello, Mayor and Council. We have 5 spots opening up on, or 5 terms expiring on the DEDC board. We have 3 voting, 2 voting spots and 3 advisory spots that expired. So I spoke to each of the board members and they've all expressed their desire to be reappointed for another 2-year term.
So who are those members?
The voting members are Meadow Neuer and Bonnie Wentworth, and the advisory members are Sharissa Hoy, John Cox, and John Bueller. Some of them have already done 2-year terms, and some just came on last year into non-expired terms.
We have any questions? Okay, can I get a motion on action item 9H?
Well, I did too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, so you said some of them had just come on. The 3 that there are the advisory members are the 3 that just came on?
That is correct.
Yes, that's correct. They came on and filled unexpired terms.
Okay.
In considering this board, I mean, are there any other applicants or nominations? Or are we looking at these names in consideration because they perform? I mean, like, I wanna understand the DEDC completely, because I don't. I do have a concern, for this particular board. Are we seeing any success? I mean, what are they making progress? What is it looking, I mean, because I don't know
I
that
think
part of it.
the board itself is functioning according to what the law said it should. What it takes is more applicants. I can tell you currently the board is looking at other ways in order to incentivize businesses, especially small businesses downtown. I know Tara has been working diligently in trying to come up with new programs. Now, I would tell you something like this board, thinking of the development board, I recommend people that's on there with experience. where you see advisory members, those are members when you have vacancy that you want to take those members and promote them because they've been there, getting the knowledge that's necessary in order to be moved up to a voting member. So it's not a board that I would likely like to see change often, so that they could get familiar. And one day, we could move people up that's advisors who can't vote. I think they're working according to what they should be. The thing is, a lot of times I hear we don't see a lot of grants being offered. It takes people to want to apply, and even when you go out to them for them to apply for funding, a lot of them don't like the criteria or don't have the money that's required of them to put up first in order to be reimbursed. So that's another issue that we're seeing, but we have to make sure that they're able to afford it, and we're gonna give them what, the board grant them in regards to a grant or an incentive. But I think they're functioning according to what the law requires them to do, and what I think the charter does.
I have a question. From the trip that was taken, the convention, haven't we seen fruit from,
Regarding that trip, I think we requested months back to see the list of businesses that were approached. Have we seen that list?
I sent a list over that contained over 50 businesses.
Right, and the ones that, I know there was a list of businesses. Were all 50 businesses approached directly independently? And of the 50, how much, what have we seen from the 50? Have we seen any movement or growth from that list of 50? And if we have, how many businesses are potential?
In that we have no control of. We have approached them. The only business I can tell you that we ever approached that showed up here is Starbucks. We approached them not last year, but the year before, and they're here. One of the things that most of these businesses are looking for is existing structures. One thing Dayton does not have is existing structures, but they let us know that what we do about when we go to these conferences is we're putting Dayton on the map, right? So now we go and we say, hey, we're from Dayton, Texas. They want to know where we at. Now when we go, majority of people know where we at because we've been there several times. So now they are familiar. One of the things we've been hearing is twofold. Once we get the number of housing, they are going to come because they look at the number of rooftops that we have. They look at also traffic volume is what's going through our community. And that's what we hear. When we get some more rooftops around 89, they're going to come. So they're familiar now with Dayton because of us going and talking to them about Dayton. But when we get the numbers that they're looking for, they'll be here. A lot of people get excited when we go there, and they're very impressed about Dayton when we start sharing all the information with them. But as far as how many have come, since I started this, I can just tell you that one. We had a car wash that was coming, and I think they backed away, but we have another one. And we actually met with them when we was at the conference.
I appreciate you explaining it, Kimberly, and the reason I ask is because I've heard, some people think that it's a waste of time going to these conferences, but just to, publicly say that, when we go, whenever the city goes and represent, that it's something coming from it. It's not just a waste of time.
Right. And I think we make valuable connections and things like that between the board, staff, consultants like the retail coach that we've been working with.
I've met there at the TML. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that explanation.
Just one quick question. On the advisory members, those are non-voting members, correct?
Correct.
Those are typically the newest members that you guys are bringing on first?
Correct. Typically when someone is appointed, it's recommended to move an advisory member up to voting and then bring a new member as an advisory member, just so they gain experience.
How long have the 3 advisory members that you have here, how long have they been on the board?
Not very long. Within the last year, they were sworn in. I don't have the exact dates in front of me, but it's within the last year.
So one of these names on here, It was my understanding that he resigned and moved. Is that incorrect, or was that somebody else?
That was someone else.
Okay.
That's one reason my mother was appointed.
Okay, okay. All right, can I get a motion on, item 9H?
I move that we approve resolution R 2024-5, the reappointment of Meadow Neuer and Bonnie Wentworth as voting members, and Sharice Ahoy, John Cox, and John Gable as advisory members to the Dayton DEDC board.
I can see when that acronym changes over time. Thank you.
All right, I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item H carries. Item 9I, consider with possible action on resolution R 2024 regarding a board member appointment to the Board of Adjustment.
Mayor, City Council, we do have 2 nominations for the Board of Adjustment. As you're aware, Council did pass a resolution on the Board of Adjustment for it to be a 7-member board, which each council member, the mayor, and myself to nominate someone for this particular board. Alexia Townsend is being nominated tonight, and also being nominated tonight would be Kelsey Connor. With these 2 appointments, this will make a full board for the Board of Adjustment.
That would make it full.
Yes, sir,
Okay.
it will.
Okay. Any
Mr.
questions?
Mayor, I'm sorry, just for clarification, one of those would be filling a vacancy that somebody is resigning from, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanna-
I haven't got that information yet.
Just wanted to make sure.
So my question is, does that person need to resign before? I can-
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now, we don't.
Can we get a resignation?
I resigned. Right on piece of paper, I got it here.
Okay, all right. So we now have an opening.
Thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve, 9I?
Make a motion that we approve resolution R 2024-7 regarding board appointment of Board of Adjustments for the 2 that were presented.
Second?
I have a motion to approve with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item 9I carries.
Okay, clarification, who was the second? Because we only have Kelsey Connor in our pipeline.
It's Alexis Thompson.
I didn't see her name.
I know it came in after.
Okay.
Yeah, it came in after the resolution, but that's Councilman Hendricks.
Yes.
Nominated.
Okay.
Alexis Thompson.
And who made the motion and who seconded it? Because I missed that.
Sean and Jeanette.
John made the motion, Jeanette. Okay, it is now 7:45, and I call this regular city council and enact our executive session.